But do you see Vegas as kind of like you taking a step back from LA where the crime's presumably worse? And could you imagine yourself living in an even more isolated place, or is this a good sweet spot?
I wouldn't consider Vegas that isolated, but I mean, I kind of keep myself isolated. I mean, I'm here, I'm in the house a lot. You know, I built this like, fucking playground or whatever. So, I don't really have to leave too much. And I think like the notoriety has made me a little bit less social as well. Cause I like having interactions with people, but I like having like normal interactions. I don't like having an interaction with somebody where they have like this whole like preconceived notion of me and I don't know, they get anxious. They come up to you and they're just like, they're nervous and there's this and this, that. It's just not a normal like interaction. And so I don't know, you kind of feel bad for the guy. It's like, you want to just tell him just like, hey, relax, it's all good, but then like that would make him more fucking anxious.
Yeah, it's weird when you get to meet people, but they're always in this sort of like hyped up state where you can't even view them as just a regular guy.
Yeah, and they have just like, so you can just see it, like they have so many of these expectations of you, and they're like, oh my God, you're like a god, this and that. I'm just like, fucking normal guy, like I mean, I've got like a little bit of a fucking crazy life, and I've done some fucking wild shit and whatever. But at the end of the day, like, I was a fucking E1 in the military, like I was a fucking guy in a fraternity, like I was whatever. I was in high school like everybody else.
If you want to actually be Dan Bilzerian's friend, probably the best thing you could do is just treat him like a regular guy, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, I am a fucking regular guy. I'm just in a fucking crazy position. I've had a crazy life. I mean, I've taken a lot of risk, but I don't think that. I said this in the book. I was like, I don't think that I'm like extraordinarily talented in anything other than I've always been really good at figuring out how to get what I want. Like if I want something, I figure out like a fucking path to get there, and then I execute, and I fucking go and go and go and go, and I just don't fucking stop. So I'm like a pit bull when it comes to that. But as far as like natural talent and all this stuff, like, I mean, I wasn't like fucking, and some physical specimen. I'm not that fucking tall. I'm not fucking like the super fast guy. But I think I'm probably smart, but I'm not a fucking genius. You know what I mean? Like I never really had any like amazing, something that I feel like would give me a big leg up, I
know it's not your main thing anymore, but I feel like that's one thing I like about poker at this point is that when you're just sitting at the table with somebody for 6 hours, you can kind of start to get a rapport going on that is more of like a normal human thing.
Yeah, the poker table is an interesting thing, man. It's a good kind of like level the playing field, so to speak. It's like everybody's, like it helps obviously to have a bunch of money, but like you only have as much money as you got in front of you. You know what I mean? Like effectually for the game. So I don't know. I always like poker was always intriguing to me. Plus it's like that rush. You have that the fucking the big win, the loss, the roller coaster of emotion. You've got a little bit of the fucking gamble too, which I think makes it like way, way more addictive. If it was just like chess or backgammon where the best player won every time, wouldn't be that interesting. But because you...
And the shitty players wouldn't play.
Yeah, but because you add in that element of chance, it's like video games, man. Like you see it, it's like that intermittent positive reinforcement. And it's like you see it in gambling and video games and social media. So all this stuff, it's like that like not knowing, that surprise, that's what fucking hooks people. It's like when when you're playing Call of Duty and you go to the fucking box, you don't know what gun's gonna come up, or you know what I mean? Like everything's kind of like random, so you don't know when you're gonna get that fucking Easter egg. And so I think things like that make it more appealing,
Yeah, and I started playing online a lot during the fucking pandemic, and then as it started to go away, because for a while I couldn't really do interviews. So it was just nobody coming to LA. I was just fucking blowing time by just playing tournaments, and then I had to like kind of like beat back this urge to play, maybe $10,000 or $20,000 worth of tournaments in a day, because it's like just so obviously a better use of my time to be running the business. But still, that fucking addictive element of it is making me like sit there doing an interview that I might realistically make $20,000 on, and I'm thinking about poker hands.
Bro, that's the story of my fucking college, man. Like my college career was like, I mean, it's just so hard to have money in an online poker site because it's there all the time, 24/7. Anytime you want to fucking play, you can be in action. And it's hard for something to be more appealing than like fucking being in a high stakes poker game. It's like, that's fucking adrenaline. And so knowing in the back of your mind that that's always there, it's like hard to sleep. It's hard to study for school. It's like, I don't know. It was very, very fucking distracting for me.
Hey, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe. We just hit 200K. We're trying to get to 300K.
Turn this up.
Appreciate y'all.
Let's go.